Hi friends! Okay, today we're going to make brioche loaf. You'll need a nice loaf pan just like this, a whisk, a mixing bowl, a couple other things. Pretty easy ingredients, all from the pantry again except for eggs. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, here I have all the ingredients measured out. So you'll need 300 grams of flour, 150 grams of soft butter, 4 eggs, half a cake of yeast, which is 25 grams, or 1 package of dry active yeast, 30 grams of warm milk. Here you have a little pinch of salt that I'll take from the spoon, and 40 grams of sugar. So we need to combine the flour with the sugar and the salt. We're just going to dump everything right in. And 1 teaspoon or 2 of the salt here. We are making a whole loaf of the bread, so we want to go about 7 grams of salt, I'd say. And we'll just use the whisk to gently combine it, making sure it's mixed well through. For the next step, we're going to use our milk to help dissolve the fresh yeast and break up the cake. Next, I've dumped my yeast and milk into a larger bowl, and I'm going to start incorporating the eggs, one at a time. And we just want to incorporate each one before we put the next one in. We're creating the wet mixture that we'll then add to the flour and sugar mix and beat in the butter at the end. Next, you'll want to slowly dump the eggs onto your dry mixture, and then we'll whisk to combine. The more we mix, the more we're going to stretch the gluten, making this stand up even more each time. It's very hard to do one-handed, but definitely keep kneading at it for a while since we're doing this by hand. At first, you might see little pieces of butter throughout your dough. You need to make sure you keep mixing until it's all combined. Once all the butter is incorporated, you should be left with a really smooth, sticky dough. And next, we're just going to let that rest. Now we will just cover it with a tea towel. We'll let it sit for 1 hour here on the countertop. Then we'll move it to the fridge for about an hour and a half. That will help chill the dough so that it's nice and easy to be able to work with later. I just pulled the dough out of the fridge. You can see it's risen up very nicely. Now I will turn it out onto the work surface with flour and start shaping the balls. So I've divided the dough into 8 equal pieces, and I will shape each one into a ball. Once the pan is greased, you will just delicately put in all of the balls. You should have 4 going down this way, and then 4 again back here. Once you have all the balls tucked in, we will just put the tea towel back on, and then we'll let it rise all the way up until the very top, and then bake it. Could take between an hour and a half to 2 hours. The brioche has nicely risen up to the top, just like I wanted, and now we're going to do an egg wash on top. You want to add in just a tiny bit of salt to the egg wash. That helps give it a nice brown color. Mix with the fork, and then we'll brush it on. So you just want to nicely brush it on, and then we'll bake the loaf at 180 for 35 minutes. Ooh, it's finished. Okay, now on to the hardest part of the recipe, waiting for it to cool.